Hi, it's Roni, and welcome to a Punched Out Thursday to Die For with Kathy, Krista, myself, and Dorothy. Plus, it is Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, round 6. And if you would like to see more inspiration, go to hashtag 30DSCBL6 on Instagram, and you can go to Facebook. There's loads on the Facebook group. And this is the layout we are doing today, the sketch, I mean. And I am going to flip mine. Yeah, just like that, it's going to get flipped. This is a picture I'm going to scrap, and I'm going to flip it to the left, is what I'm going to end up doing. I am using my punches, quite a few of them. And the first two are 1 3/4 inch and 1 1/2 inch. And the yellow's the 3/4 inch, 1 3/4. I'm going to ink it with yellow and wished I'd remembered to ink the other one too. I do have the ink laying there for it, but I forgot and I thought, well, I think it'll be all right. So I left it. I'm also using my 1/2 inch and 5/8 inch punches for the eyes. The black is going to be the 5/8. Then I'm going to add the 1/2. And then that little tiny one is a 1/4 inch punch. And it's going to be the center of the eyes. Now the original one that I'm looking at in the picture has oval eyes. I don't have any oval punches that small, so I am going to have circled eyes. So he's not going to be quite the same. Now this little train from the mall reminds me of Thomas the Tank Engine and his friends, and I think this is one of his friends. Well, looks like him anyway, Percy, because he's green. I showed you that cute little Mickey Mouse punch, and I cut off one ear. However, I had to take and trim the ear off the other part to make his nose. I was trying to find a nose just the right size, and that one worked. The only other one was a little too small, and then the next one was a little too big. But this one was just right, and I got him from Jennifer Rellis. She mailed him to me so I could have him as a hidden Mickey. I might hide one on this page just to help me remember who helped me make the nose. But I'm working on the mouth now, and I did make a curve on the paper before I punched the white out. So I'm going to have to trim the dark peach color off, see, in the back just to make them match. And one is the upper lip and one is the one below is the bottom lip. Because if you ever watch Thomas the Tank, one of them, well, they all, I think, have a bottom lip that's bigger than the top lip. Now I'm putting pink ink on these just to make them a little darker around the edge, but I think most of it ends up getting absorbed because I put a whole lot on the cheeks and you can barely tell it now. You can tell it pretty good under the lights in there when I was doing the layout, but in here you can't tell it quite as much, so I think I might add just a little bit more. And I usually do circles. This time I did moon shapes because on Thomas and Friends, they're moon shaped. Well, him and all his friends have eyebrows, and the little guy in the mall does too. And I didn't really have a punch the right size, so I am using the 5/8 inch punch again. And then when I'm gluing them down, I'm going to kind of stretch them. So instead of them being curved quite as much, they're going to be spread out just a little bit more, so the eyebrows can overshadow the eyes a little. I'm not going to make any ears. There aren't any ears on the train here. Um, and there aren't any on Thomas and Friends either. So he won't have ears, but he'll have a smokestack and some other things, but he's not going to actually have ears. I when I'm going to pull that. Well, I got to do this part first. I almost forgot. This is almost 2 inches, and I'm putting it in a 2 inch punch and pulling it up to the very edge and then punching. So it'll be rounded and as big as I need it to be. I'm going to ink the edges on all these parts just to give them distinction over the other parts. And I'm going to use two of those labels from the label punch. I'm going to use the biggest and then the next size down. And the one that's the next size down is going to be my smokestack, and I'm going to put foam tape behind the head and forget to do it on the smokestack. So I'll have to go back later and do it. But I'm going to cut it out of the video because this video is so long. I figured y'all seen me mess with the smokestack one time. And I'm just going to cut that part out and putting it on there. But no, it is there now, in case you all were wondering, what is she thinking not putting no foam tape behind that? I added the larger label behind his head so a little bit would show on each side and to give him a little bit of dimension. They kind of look like ears though, don't they? Ears with earmuffs maybe? The guy in the mall has two round circles and they look like they're indented down into, embossed down into the cabinet part or cabin part. And so I'm going to take the other, I'm taking the 1/2 and the 5/8 inch again, inking them and putting one on top of the other just to give it the look of what's on the one in the mall. Used to, all we used was our punches. And now that we use the dies too, it like opened a whole new world to me. So I was thinking, what can I use to make a cow catcher on the front of this little guy? So I am making a layer now, and I am going to end up tapering it just so that it has dimension to go on here. And then I'm going to add more because I didn't think it looked like it had enough dimension and I thought I needed another layer. But this is going to be my first one, and I'm going to add the cow catcher to the bumper looking part. The grill, I'm going to use that arrow and use the off pieces. And I went ahead and glued them down. I went ahead and cut the arrow out twice and glued them down on this piece of paper that I fussy cut around. Well, I guess I just kind of winged it because I didn't have no pencil marks or anything, but I knew I needed what kind of shape for my cow catcher. And here's where I decided I need another layer and that I need to taper it too to match the other tapered one. And so I'm cutting it down and inking it and tapering it and putting it right behind the cow catcher. Now I'm going to think I'm done. Yeah, and I'm going to go on with the layout, but then I'm going to remember when I go to put him, actually adhere him to the page, that I forgot his wheels. And I think a little while after that, I remember that I didn't do my highlights, so I will do the highlights. Or maybe it's the other way around. I can't remember. Even though it hasn't been that long since I've done this layout. The paper I'm using is the leftovers from the one I did the other day that was really similar to this sketch, but they match, the triangles match. So I cut some pieces off the smaller triangle, which I'm going to use because if you look at the sketch, it has some pieces sticking out from underneath the triangle parts. And I'm going to use those plus some yellow just to repeat the yellow that's in Percy there. I'm going to call him Percy. He looks like Percy to me. Now, like I said, I flipped this because I was trying to figure out a way to get my train on there and my picture and to get Jason where he'd be in the right spot because I didn't want him, well, certain places. So I finally decided if I just flipped it, it'd work a little better for me. However, once I do a couple of more things that I wasn't planning when I adhered them down, I'll think I could have done this or that if I'd flipped it the other way. So there is all kinds of options, and you will probably see them on the layouts on everybody else's pages. But yeah, I kept thinking of all kinds of other stuff I could have done. I'm going to layer the yellow and the green behind my picture, but before I actually adhere it down, I'm going to add black to it too, because I'm going to have a little more black besides that grill in this layout. But it was black on the one in the mall, so I went ahead and done it in black. Now that train track, it's Sizzix also. It's one of those long sizzle ones, and I got it many, many years ago. Like it was the first one I got besides Waves after I got my Sizzix Sidekick. So it's kind of on the old side. It's been used a lot because my next to the eldest grandson loved Thomas and Friends. I mean, and he loved trains. I'd have to pull over to the side so that he could watch them when they went by. Well, I didn't have to, but I knew how much he enjoyed it. So, of course, I did it. And it's just called Train Track. Um, this is where I remember I didn't make the wheels. So I decided I was going to make them yellow since they would be sitting on the black train track and they'd show up a little bit better. And I thought about making like hubs on each side, which I would have used the 1/4 inch, but I probably would have made them black. And now I'm looking at it and thinking I could have made them yellow. And maybe I'll go back and do it if he's not too hard to pick up. But yeah, he does have wheels now, so he can go somewhere. And see, I finally decided I needed to add the black layer behind my picture. So yeah, there's few things that might have been part of what took me so long to do the layout. It was hard to decide what I wanted where. I am going to put foam tape behind Percy just on one side, since the other side will be on the, well, no, I put it on the whole thing. Just the edge is going to be on the picture, maybe. No, I put him up there pretty good. Well, anyway, he does have foam tape behind him. For the title, I'm going to use my Martha Stewart punches, which I love. And you know, I bought that adhesive tape to go behind it so I wouldn't have to adhere these one at a time. It won't punch with it behind there. I got the Elizabeth Craft one and it will not punch, so I have to use liquid glue. However, they're just the right size sometimes, and I really like using them. So the little bit of extra effort it takes is fine. Oh, and here's where I remembered to do the highlights on my little guy. I took and did the word friend with the Tim Holtz die, which is a sizzlet strip again, and it's called Wanted. And so I guess it looks like the words on a wanted poster, but I'm going to do friend in it anyway. And I had it planned to put a large ticket up there and put my title on the ticket. However, I thought of using another railroad track and I couldn't resist doing that. So my title's going to roll along the railroad track. And it's going to say, Finding a Friend at the Mall, Priceless. The priceless won't be on there at first because I'm going to run across it on the sticker sheet and I can't resist. You all know I like long titles and themes. So, yeah, and the kids do too. I mean, there's times I've used the wrong word or theme or what, and they tell me I should have done this or that. So I will go ahead and put that one in my albums and do them a different one for their albums. And here's the sticker sheet, and I've had it a long time. I mean, forever. I don't even know how long, 12 years maybe. And I've used a few, but I hardly ever think of it. Well, when I was thinking, what am I going to use with this? This is the Christmas collection from Echo Park. Twas the night before Christmas. I couldn't really use anything out of there, even though this is at Christmas. This picture was taken at Christmas in the mall. I wanted to use something else, so I decided to use this just because there was green on there. The black plaid tag I'm using, it is from the Christmas collection. I put that heart on there. Heart. Camera with the heart. I was looking right at the heart. Camera with the heart on it. And I believe that was Freckled Fawn. I think it was the last one I had left on the sheet. But I thought it'll go with the yellows that I have here. So I'm using it on there. Then I'm using a sticker that says Little Things and Life in Pictures. Plus, I'm going to pull out a green arrow sticker on there and use it. However, I put foam tape behind it. I cut it down and then I put foam tape behind it. And when I go back later to put my enamel dots, I notice how bumpy it looks and decided to make it sturdier. So I will put black behind it. I started to put white and just make it sturdier, but I decided to outline it in the black instead. And I'm cutting it out of the videos while I'm telling you about it now. But I figured you seen me fiddle with the arrow once and you didn't need to see it twice. And I'm just going to tuck it in there and point to the arrow. So Little Things, Life in Pictures, and point to the Point to the arrow. Oh, it's late. Can you all tell? Point to the camera. And this is when I find the price list on the sticker sheet. And oh, was I excited. So now my title says Finding a Friend at the Mall Price List. And I had to balance it out a little bit, so I pulled out my picture wheel and I'm just going to cut in half and tuck it up under there and then look for another sticker. And I will find Life Unscripted because he isn't smiling in the picture. And his sister, they took 2 pictures that day. She isn't smiling either. She looks like she's roaring, actually. She's got a really funny look on her face and her mouth wide open. So I decided Life Unscripted could go really well on here. And yeah, I think he still looks cute in that little train with his little beanie hat on. And I am getting close to getting done with my layout. So if you look down there below, you'll see all the gals from I Punched Out Thursday to Die For, plus all the gals, well, maybe not all the gals, but as many as I could find that are doing the 30 days with sketches, because there are a lot doing it. So much inspiration. You can check on the Facebook group, and every day Christy posts is the one for that day. And you can do the layout using the sketch and put your take on the sketch. And I'll be putting mine in there once it goes live. And be watching for me to be in a tag video. Kelsey Webster tagged me. I was like shocked when she tagged me. I was not expecting that. But yeah, I gotta get my nerve up. She said I don't have to do a face one. So all I have to do is talk. I can do that pretty good. I can do that part. But she's such a sweetheart. How can I say no? Well, I have one other time forgot to do it. I planned on doing it and forgot, but I'm going to try and make sure I remember this time. But there's my little guy, and I think his name is Percy. And the one, I made sure part of the picture showed too so that you could see it. And here's my arrow, and it looks so much better, not bumpy. And there's my layout. But if you leave a comment below, I'll get back with you. And if you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. And those of you already are, thank you so much. But have a happy, scrappy week. Take care and stay safe. Bye.